What is going on, Pretender here, back with another Honkai style guide, and today I'm here with the full build guide for one of the characters that will be rerunning during the 3.2 first half, being Fugue. So this video I'm taking you over Kin Eidolons, then I'll be taking you over some of her best Lightcone options, followed by that will be best Relic sets and Planar Ornaments, and then finally Mainstat and Substat recommendations. I plan on having a full build guide for every new and returning character for 3.2 both halves. Caster's guide is already out that you can check out. You are now watching the Fugue guide. Soon there will be one for Jiaoqiu and Acheron. Soon there will be one for Anaxa, and for Dr. Ratio, I already have a guide I made previously in 2025 that you can already check out. That will also be in the pinned comment. And that's all I want to say. Before I get into the video, if you guys found this video helpful in any way, shape, or form, dropping a like would be greatly appreciated. If you're new or haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon for future videos like this, along with all other types of style content. And let's get straight into the video. So Fugue is a fire character following the path of Nihility. Her basic attack deals fire damage equal to 100% of Fugue's attack to one designated enemy. Her skill grants one designated ally Feixiao prayer, enters the Torrid Scourge state lasting for 3 turns. The duration reduces by 1 at the start of Fugue's every turn. Feixiao prayer only takes effect on the most recent target of Fugue's skill. The ally target with Feixiao prayer increases their break effect by 30% and can also reduce toughness even when attacking enemies that don't have the corresponding weakness type, with the effect equivalent to 50% of the original toughness reduction value. This cannot stack with other toughness reduction effects that can also ignore weakness type. While in the Torrid Scourge state, Fugue enhances her basic attack. Every time an ally target with Feixiao prayer attacks, Fugue has a 100% base chance to reduce the attacked enemy target's defense by 18% for 2 turns. And as the skill did say, it gives her access to an enhanced basic attack, and what that enhanced basic attack does is deals fire damage equal to 100% of Fugue's attack to one designated enemy, and fire damage equal to 50% of Fugue's attack to adjusted targets. Her ultimate deals fire damage equal to 200% of Fugue's attack to all enemies. This attack ignores weakness type to reduce all enemies' toughness, and when breaking weakness, triggers the fire weakness break effect. For talent, while Fugue is on the field, enemy targets will get additionally inflicted with Cloud Flame Luster, equal to 40% of their maximum toughness. When the initial toughness is reduced to 0, Cloud Flame Luster can continue to be reduced. When Cloud Flame Luster is reduced to 0, the enemy will receive weakness break damage again. While Fugue is on the field and after ally targets attack weakness broken enemies, converts the toughness reduction of this attack to one instance of 100% super break damage. Technique: after using Technique, inflicts daze on enemies within a certain area, lasting for 10 seconds. While dazed, enemies will not actively attack ally targets. After entering battle via actively attacking dazed enemies, Fugue's action advances by 40%, with a 100% base chance to inflict each enemy target with the same defense reduction state applied by Fugue's skill for 2 turns. For her bonus traces, her A2, after ally targets break weakness, additionally it delays the action of enemy targets by 15%. Her A4, increases this unit's break effect by 30%. After using skill for the first time, immediately recovers 1 skill point. And her A6, when an enemy target's weakness gets broken, increases teammates, i.e. excluding this unit, break effect by 6%. If Fugue's break effect is 220% or higher, the break effect increase is boosted by an additional 12% for 2 turns and stacks up to 2 times. For Eidolons, her E1, ally targets with Feixiao prayer increases their weakness break efficiency by 50%. Her E2, when an enemy target's weakness gets broken, Fugue regenerates 3 energy. After using ultimate, advances the action of all allies by 24%. Her E4, ally target with Feixiao prayer increases their break damage dealt by 20%. And her E6, increases Fugue's weakness break efficiency by 50%. While Fugue is in the Torrid Scourge state, Feixiao prayer takes effect on all allies. Take a look at some of the best Lightcone options for Fugue. Her best one is obviously going to be her own signature Lightcone, which provides the wearer a 60% increase to break effect. When an enemy target's weakness gets broken, there's a 100% base chance to inflict the charring state on it, which increases its break damage taken by 18% for 2 turns and stacks up to 2 times. So as Fugue does want to be given break effect and a good amount of it at that, the 60% break effect it provides is very nice. On top of that, you always run her with break related teams as she is an enabler for super break, and making enemies take more break damage is going to be fantastic for your break DPS, as there's not really many sources besides increasing break damage taken and also something like defense ignore to make the break DPS do more damage. And as she is able to stack that up to 2 times, that is a whole 36% increase to break damage dealt, which is going to be very good for your DPS, and is going to increase the damage your break DPS or anyone that's breaking damage against that target by a good amount, which amplifies her role especially as a super break enabler, but also now a really good debuff at the same time because she already provides some defense shred and is now able to make enemies take more break damage thanks to this Lightcone. Stack that with the fact that you get a big increase to break effect is why this Lightcone is very good on her and is her best option. Another really good option for Fugue is actually the Resolution Shines as Pearls of Sweat, as it provides the ability to ensnare a hit enemy with a 60% base chance to actually ensnare them, and the ensnare say has the enemy's defense decreased by 12%. and at S5 it becomes 100% base chance. Defense Shred is another good source for break characters to do more damage, and that's what this Lightcone exactly provides. And since their enhanced basic attack is the state you're practically always in to actually have with the Foxian Prayer, and being in the Torrid Scourge state, you practically always will be able to hit 3 enemies, which is going to be 3 sources of ensnared enemies, and it's very, very easy to actually get ensnared to stay on the enemies for most of the time, because Fugue does act a lot. She's usually always built with very high speed, which is why this Lightcone is very powerful, because you constantly will have a 16% defense shut on the enemy. Another good option is the Herder Shop Solitary Healing Lightcone, which gives a 20% increase to break effect, and when the wearer uses their ultimate, it increases dot dealt by the wearer by 24%, lasting for 2 turns, and when a target enemy suffering from the dot imposed by the wearer is defeated, regenerates 4 energy for the wearer. And at S5, it's a 40% increase to break effect with a 48% increase to dot damage dealt when using ultimate, and also gives 6 energy for defeating enemies that do have dot imposed by the wearer. So Fugue is actually able to inflict burn with the weakness break effect from fire, and a lot of break DPSs, most of them are practically fire, so they do have a form of dot. Boothill is another example that also has bleed when you do inflict weakness break with him, so you are actually able to gain the source of energy. And then the dot damage, it's not going to be much, but it can stack up, so if you do actually inflict dot with breaking enemies with Fugue's ultimate, which is usually how you do it, or just in general, you inflict the burn, you actually will be able to have that damage increase to actually be a bit more noticeable. It's not the main part, but it's mainly for the fact you can get energy back and also get break effect, as this is one of the other sources that you can get as a stat stick, as the other effects are not that useful, but still are good, which makes this Lightcone another good option you can use. Another good option is the before the tutorial mission starts, which gives a 20% increase to effect hit rate. When the wearer attacks defense reduced enemies, regenerates 4 energy, and at S5 it's a 40% increase to effect hit rate and 8 energy given back when attacking defense reduced enemies. As our base kit does give access to a defense shred, you are actually able to make use of this effect when you are attacking enemies. And effect hit rate is actually a very important stat honor to make sure you do often get the defense shred to actually apply, and this alleviates a big need that you would actually want on your relics, and can also open up for a different body you could use on her, since she does also, besides wanting higher speed and a good amount of break effect, and on top of that also wanting a specific requirement for effect hit rate, this Lightcone actually helps a lot to alleviate the effect hit rate you do need, which is why it's another good option you can use. Taking a look at some of the best relic sets for Fugue, she does have a few options you can use, but the best one for her own personal damage is 4-piece Iron Cavalry, which 2-piece provides 60% break effect, and the 4-piece, if the wearer's break effect is 150% or higher, the break damage dealt to the enemy target ignores 10% of their defense. If the wearer's break effect is 250% or higher, the super break damage dealt to the enemy target additionally ignores 50% of their defense. So just multiple sources of defense ignore is one of the best sources of damage increases for break related characters. 2-piece also giving some break effect is nice as well, and as she is a super break enabler for the team, you are actually able to make use of dealing super break damage on her. Only thing you do want to note though is this will require you to build more break effect than you normally would, as without the 4-piece you only need about 190% when going into battle, thanks to one of her traces giving 30% to make full use of one of her other traces, but with this relic set you would need at least 220%. Again, you need to account for other buffs such as Ruan May buff and other things you might have, like paired with a Heartbeat Trailblazer and so on, but in any case, if you don't really have other sources, then you would need to pair with having the right substats. And to make full use of the set, just assuming her at base, you would need a bit higher break effect than you normally would, so that might be a bit steep, especially when you're needing other stats as well. But for her best personal damage, 4-piece Iron Cavalry is the way to go. Another really good set on her is actually 4-piece of the Thief set. 2-piece gives 16% break effect, and the 4-piece gives another 16% break effect. After the wearer inflicts weakness break on an enemy, regenerates 3 energy. So just a way to get faster ultimate cycles. And Fugue is definitely able to break, especially if you account for her re-break with the Cloud Flame Luster. And this 4-piece also gives you a total of 32% break effect, which is going to be very good. And so helping you get more energy back will help you cycle ultimate more, which is going to further help you reduce toughness faster, which is why 4-piece Thief is another good option you can use. And past that, which is also actually going to be one of the most common ones, is actually running 2-piece of one of the break sets with 2-piece of one of the speed sets, so that being 2-piece Hacker's Pace for 6% speed, or now the other option you do have with the 2-piece Relief Ordeal set, which has the same 2-piece. So you pretty much just take 2-piece of one of the break effect sets, so you do have the Iron Cavalry set, you do have Watchmaker, and you also have Thief, and then combine that with 2-piece Hacker's Pace or 2-piece of the ideal set because you do want around 160 plus speed on your Fugue. So 2-piece of one of the speed sets does very much help. But if you are already able to hit those with your substats, then you obviously don't have a need for more speed, which is why this is only really the option you would use if you aren't able to hit them without it. Again, for best personal damage, 4-piece Iron Cavalry. Otherwise, a good overall set you can also do is 4-piece Thief, or past that you can do 2-piece of one of the break sets and 2-piece of one of the speed sets. You can also do 2-piece of 2 different break sets, so up to 32% break effect, but at that point just try to get a 4-piece Thief set, but those are your options. When it comes to our best Planar ornaments, you are working with 2 main options here, but you can also opt to use different ones. If you are running her alongside Firefly and or you are taking her into a battle that is in a fire weakness, you can use the Forge set, which provides 6% speed and also gives 40% break effect when the wearer does hit someone that has fire weakness for 1 turn. So again, you have to make sure they have fire weakness innate or you have Firefly to implant it. Otherwise, it's just 6% speed and you're better off running something else. But in the cases you are running her with Firefly, which is very common, or the enemies just have fire weakness and you're able to hit them to get the full break effect, this is going to be the best option you can use. If you're not running her with Firefly or the enemies don't have fire weakness or you just can't be asked to change it every time, you can just use Talia, which gives 16% break effect and when the wearer does have 145 speed or higher, whereas break effect increases by an extra 20%, so up to a 36% increased break effect, which is 4% lower than Forge and also minus the speed, but it is a lot more flexible because 145 speed or higher is definitely wanted on your Fugue. So this is the other best set you can use. If you don't really need the break effects that these relics could provide, you can also just give her any of the supportive sets, but most of them aren't really valuable because their best teams are paired with break characters where you're better off just running Forge or Talia on your Fugue, because something like Broken Kill with the crit damage is not really going to help anyone besides someone like Bootail, where it's also very negligible. Running Aegis can also work for the extra attack because someone like Firefly can benefit from it. Same thing does apply to Lushaka, but again, it's very negligible. So you're very much just better off running Forge or Talia themselves. For the main stats on the Relics, for the body, you want to run effect hit rate unless you are running the tutorial mission Lightcone and you have enough substats to hit 67% effect hit rate in battle. In that case, you could just run HP or defense for survivability. For the feat, you want to run speed. For the orb, you can run HP or defense. And for the link group, you can run either break effect or energy regeneration rate. Either or, because if you have enough break effect going into battle, which would be 190% or 220% if you are running Iron Cavalry, and then obviously including any other buffs that your personal team may have, then you can run energy regeneration rate to get her ultimate faster. But if you don't have that actual break effect and you need the rope, let's say you're not running a Lightcone that may provide break effect and you just don't have enough rolls, then you can actually safely just run a link rope with break effect. For the substats, first, you definitely want to prioritize effect hit rate hitting 67% so you can guarantee the defense reduction that her base kit does provide. Past that, you want to make sure you do fully utilize her kit, so again, be sure to hit 190% break effect before battle if she is solo, and then if you have Raw and May buff or HMC buff and all that kind of stuff, or Watchmaker, you want to account for those, but as a solo, 190% so you can hit 220% in battle is going to be very important. And if you're running Iron Cavalry, then obviously be sure to hit 220% before going into battle so you can get the 250% for the full effect. So in battle, if you're not running Iron Cavalry, you want to still make sure you hit 220% in battle, otherwise 250% for Iron Cavalry. And then past that, you want to focus on speed. Getting anywhere between 145 to 160 is ideal. You usually pair with Ruan Mei, so getting 160 is very much doable. If you're able to have her at 160 plus speed at base, that's perfect. And then anything past that is just going to be more survivability, so it's just HP defense. So once again, first prioritize effect hit rate to get 67% to guarantee the debuff. Then make sure you do get enough break effect in battle to be 220% or 250% if you are running Iron Cavalry. And then you want to make sure to get speed 145%, 145 or higher. 160 plus in battle is ideal. And past that is just survivability with HP and defense. Yep, that is the video. That is the full Fugue build guide. Once again, if you guys found the video helpful, dropping a like would be greatly appreciated. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon for future videos like this along with all other types of Star Wars content. That's all I wanted to say. Peace out.